You think consistency is about posting every day, and that's why you're not posting, right? What I've identified personally in my journey, especially as building my visibility, is that clients are not hiring you because of volume. They're hiring you because they trust you. So let's talk about that a bit as we talk about the roadmap to building your visibility. When I first started out, one of the things I got wrong was thinking that I had to be posting every day. So I was showing up on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, sending emails and posting at a rhythm that was just not natural for me. And it eventually led to burnout. So I would do all these things and burn out for a very long time. And then when I came back, it was the same thing. So I was really getting consistency wrong. But consistency is way more than frequency. And I really hope you know this by now. Consistency is about having the same commitment, the same energy, and that one message that you really want to bring across and let people know you for, your clients know you for. And so once I got a better understanding of what consistency is, then I noticed a shift. Instead of trying to be everywhere, I decided to choose one platform that I wanted to focus on. And even if I had other platforms that I was on, I ensured that that one platform that I was focusing on got majority of my energy. So I would call it like an anchor platform. So let me give you some insight. So currently, I've been changing my entire relationship with social media in terms of how I'm showing up. And so one of the things that I've started to do more of is to focus on one specific platform that I would call my anchor platform. And so I'd go deep on that platform and then repurpose the content on other platforms. So for instance, on YouTube, I use that as my authority building platform, which means for me, growth is often slower, the views are not always the highest, but it is that platform that if you want a deep dive and understanding of what I do and how I can help you, this is where you would come normally. From YouTube, I would repurpose what I do here and post it on LinkedIn as well as on Instagram. So on LinkedIn, I will share more of the stories behind what I do. I will share also more of the stories that inspired me creating a particular content on YouTube. And so LinkedIn is like a story building platform as well. And then Instagram was is all about community for me. So I would post more frequently on stories. So I'd spend a lot of time sharing like behind the scenes, giving a little update here and there, just really having conversations and probably running some polls and doing DM conversations. And then every now and then I do some reels and I do some carousels to share some highlights and probably even share some offers. So that is my approach to social media. A big part of showing up and building my visibility was really identifying where I wanted to show up, whether it's once a week or one particular day every week that people can anticipate and expect. Now, the truth is, I haven't always been the best at this, right? So, when I talk about consistency, I'm not talking about it from a place that is theory. I'm talking about it from a place where I have made some missteps, but also made some great improvements and seen some strides. So, I remember particularly there was a time when I was very consistent on Instagram to the point where persons would actually message me and tell me how amazed they were out of my consistency. I've been getting a lot of comments like, yo, Carey, you have been so consistent. And I'm like, yo, I've just been just doing the thing that sometimes I don't even realize. So I have been very intentional about being consistent. And what I've done is just to identify what I want to do and how I want to position myself and how I want to provide value for my audience. So thank you for recognizing that I'm being consistent. Behind the scenes, it can get a little messy sometimes, but I'm just really trying to be very intentional, and I realize being consistent helps me to identify what is working and what isn't. So this is also like a test for myself, like, yo, let's be more consistent, see what is working, see what isn't, and make the tweaks as necessary. Again, I'm just a girl who is trying out loud. That's all it is. All right. So I was just posting at a rhythm that persons could expect me to show up in. And initially I was thinking, oh, it's about frequency, but it wasn't. It was really about me having that one message wherever I was showing up or whenever I was showing up. So even though I'm on different platforms and even though you might show up on different platforms, you want to be clear on what is your message on that platform. How are you showing up on that platform? And just be rooted in that. Here's what happened when I started showing up more consistently. people started expecting me, they knew what to expect from me. So there was some amount of predictability. But also, if I didn't show up at a particular time, persons would start messaging me and say, "Hey, Carey, I have not seen you. Are you okay?" So those are the type of things that consistency helped with. I also got hired by a client because of how consistent I was. So when she reached out, she's like, "Hey, I'm interested in working with you for this particular service." And then I was like, "Okay, thanks." So, of course I want to thank them for, considering me and wanting to work with me. But I asked that important question was, I'm curious, what makes you want to work with me outside of me just having the skill set? And what she shared was that, "Carey, you are consistent, and that consistency makes me believe I can trust you." And that was just a very big thing for me. At the time, I probably wasn't thinking too much about consistency and in terms of how that would build trust, but it was the one thing that helped my client to choose me. So, in terms of building your visibility, consistency is very important. It might seem so simple, you probably hear people talk about it a lot, but it is that one thing that can shift so many things for you. My consistency turned into paid opportunities, partnerships, and collaborations. So, because of how I was showing up, persons believed they could trust me, and also it helped me to build some amount of credibility and trust. Consistency is about showing up at the same time, in the same place, with the same energy and commitment. It's being predictable in the best way, and your audience know exactly what they're getting from you, and you follow through on what you say you'll do. Now, if I'm going to be honest, that has been something that I have also struggled with, which is following through on something that I've wanted to do or said I am going to do. And the reason I've had a misstep in this area is because sometimes get a little bit too excited and not setting realistic goals. So even with consistency, if you say you're going to show up every single week, you have to check your calendar, be honest with about what's your lifestyle like, your energy levels, and really see if that is how you can show up. And another key thing too about consistency that I know a lot of people talk about is having systems. So I'm talking about it about in terms of a lot of people say you need systems, and I too have proved that in order to be consistent, you need systems. Like you need to have a system in terms of what's your workflow? Is there going to be a day where you sit down and record videos? Is there going to be another day where you're editing videos? Do you have the resources to delegate? Do you have the time to do two videos or one video, whether it's a long form video or a short term video? Do you have the time to create graphics? Is that your strength? So look at things that you have within your wheelhouse and see what you can do with the capacity and the time you have right now. And if you don't have the time or the resources, you really can probably even bartering services, delegating, asking for help. Those are some ways that can really help you to build a system that makes you more consistent so persons can trust you. And so when you say you're doing that thing, you actually follow through. One of the reasons why women entrepreneurs quit too soon is because they have consistency all wrong. They have thought about consistency wrong. You're thinking, "Oh, I have to post every day," when instead it may be one video every week, which leads to you posting every week for 3 months. And that builds a library of content, of work you do, so that when people go to your social media platform, they can say, "Yes, this is the work she has been doing." So even if you should step away for a month just for a vacation, just to refresh yourself, then persons will already know that you have built a library, they can trust you. You have already built a redeem. So you taking a month break won't affect you. And so thinking about consistency requires a really big mindset shift. One of the things I have personally achieved with consistency is that my views transformed from just persons watching to persons actually commenting, to persons actually sending me a DM or sending me an email, people giving me feedback, persons sharing how my videos help them wanting to work with me more or wanting to go deeper with me in terms of a service. So maybe they even want to, hire me for training, maybe they want to invite me to speak, or maybe they even simply want to have like a one-on-one session for me. So that is what consistency has done for me personally and has helped me to build my visibility. Another thing I'll talk about in this visibility roadmap series is about how my consistency has created room for bigger stages, and I'm going to be talking about that. And that's the final video in this series that you want to stay posted for. Another key thing that came from consistency was that it eventually helped me to build a community. So for those of you who probably are new to me, one of the things I'm most commonly known for, especially on YouTube, is that I am a Canva design community ambassador. So a lot of persons know me for Canva because naturally that's what I was talking about a lot here on YouTube. And then eventually I talk a lot about it on other platforms. So instantly when someone hears my name, they're like, oh, Carey, Canva. But then eventually I started talking about other things, talking about branding, and start talking more about like building a visibility and online presence and on camera confidence. So the more I started talking about things and just having a rhythm and sticking to the commitment to talking about things and sharing about those things, but also sharing proof of the work I've done, then I've been able to build a community that people can trust me and I have that amount of credibility. So when they hear about Canva, when they hear about branding or brand visibility, or just someone who has transformed from being behind the scenes to in front of the camera and building my confidence, then naturally my name comes up. And that's because I have I've built a brand by being consistent about the things I talk about. So here's my challenge for you. I want you to choose one platform, one message that you're going to be committing to for the next 30 days. I'm not telling you to show up 30 days. I'm not telling you to show up every day, but for the next 30 days in a rhythm that feels natural to you based on your lifestyle, your time, your energy. Choose that one platform and start showing up, talking about that thing that you want persons to know you for and to trust you with. So, for instance, if you are about finance, start sharing your story more. What is that story of transformation? What is that tip, advice, or strategy that you have that you can share? You know, if you are a designer, maybe you can start just recording behind the scenes of you designing and posting that once per week. Now, the thing about consistency is not an overnight thing. Of course, we're living in an era where you probably can post one video and become an overnight success, or so it seems. But really, it takes some time and effort. So, these 30 days is just about you trying to find a rhythm that works for you. One of the things I can definitely say consistency helps with, it helps to beat perfection. So, if you are someone who struggles with perfectionism, in that used to be me, or still like work in progress, then of course like consistency, building a system that works for you, building a rhythm that works for you, it really helps to eliminate the overwhelm, especially eliminating burnout. Because trust me, one of the things I absolutely don't like is to be creating and feeling so overwhelmed and burnt out by what I am doing, because that in itself sucks away all the joy of creating and showing up online in the way I truly know I can and want. In my next video, I am going to share how I built my visibility by pitching with confidence. This is me being in rooms or in masterclasses or in just different places where I just openly shared what I was good at, what I was doing, and it transformed into opportunities.